what is the basis of classification of algae? So students, we know what an algae is. So algae is a photosynthetic organisms. They have got chloroplast like plants. They can synthesize their own food. And if you observe the body structure, they are not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So generally they have a thallus body, and like plants they have got an outer cell wall. So they share many similarities with the plants, but they are not plants. The difference is they do not have a body. The body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. They have chloroplast and they have cell wall. Now, if you observe these three organisms, they differ in the color. So here it is greenish in color, here it is red in color, and here it is brown in color. So these algae are classified into three main classes. They are chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. Now these divisions are done based on the following characters. One is the major photosynthetic pigments. So as we can see here, they differ in the colors. So these difference in the color is due to the presence of photosynthetic pigments. And now when they photosynthesize, they produce food. Now how this food is stored, in what form it is stored. So based on the stored food, again the three divisions are done. Along with that, they have considered the cell wall composition. So what type of substance is present in the cell wall, whether it is a cellulose, whether it is an algae. So depending on the type of carbohydrates or a protein which is present in the cell wall, the classification is done. And some algae are able to move. So that is, they can move from one place to another. So for that they need flagella. So based on the number of flagella and its position, the algae are classified. So these are the characters on which an algae will be classified. One is photosynthetic pigments, stored food, cell wall composition, number of flagella and its position. So let us say first what is the first type of an algae. Here the first algae is chlorophyceae. So what is this color? Yes, it is green in color. So these algae are green in color. Here the word chloro represents, it is green. Now all green algae will be grouped under the class chlorophyceae. Now the pigments responsible for these green colors are chlorophyll A and B. So they have major pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So in the image you can see these green color pigments. So they are responsible for the appearance of green color and they contain pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Now they store food in the form of starch. Starch is a polysaccharide. It contains a monosaccharide called glucose. There will be many repeating units of monosaccharide. So this kind of stored substance we can see even in plants. The cell wall composition. So in plants also we have learned that the cell wall is made up of cellulose. So in green algae the cell wall is again made of cellulose. So students, they believe that green algae are the ancestors for the plants. So that is why it shares most of the relationship, like the chlorophyll pigments, presence of starch, cellulose. So all these characters we can see even in plants. That means they have a common ancestors. Now these green algae have given rise to different plants. The flagella number and position. So here we can see there are two flagella. They are present in the tip. So they are two and they are of equal length and its place is apical. So the flagella number will be 2. They are of equal length and apical in position. So these are the characteristics of chlorophyceae. So let us recall. The word chlorophyceae represents, chloro means green. So that is why generally they are also called as green algae. To produce this green color, they have pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. They store food in the form of starch. The cell wall composition is cellulose, and they have two equal sized apically placed flagella which helps in locomotion. So these are the characteristics of class 1 chlorophyceae. Now the second class, that is phaeophyceae. So the common name is brown algae. So students, here we can see the color of the algae is brown in color. So it is due to the presence of the pigment fucoxanthine. So it is a type of a xanthophyll pigment which contains brown color subproteins. So these pigments imparts its color. Now all algae are photosynthetic in nature. That means they should have chlorophyll A and C, that is green color pigments, to perform photosynthesis. But still they don't appear green because they have major amount of fucoxanthine. So the number of fucoxanthine is more when compared to chlorophyll A and C. But still they have green pigments which is very much essential to undergo photosynthesis. So here three pigments will be present: chlorophyll A, C and fucoxanthine. Now the stored food substance, they contain mannitol and laminaria. So mannitol is a sugar. It is a sugar like sucrose, and laminaria is a polysaccharide. So it is a polysaccharide which have many stored repeating monosaccharides. So they store reserved food in the form of mannitol or laminaria. So these kind of stored food is present only in brown algae. The cell wall composition, they have cellulose. Along with cellulose, there is another compound called algene. So it is a polysaccharide. This polysaccharide, algene, is found only in the cell wall present in brown algae. So it has two types of cell wall composition. One is basic cellulose. Along with cellulose, they have got algene. Now the number of flagella, there are two flagella which is unequal in position and they are laterally located. So these are the characteristics of phaeophyceae. They are brown algae. For brown color they have fucoxanthin. Along with fucoxanthin they have chlorophyll A and C. They store food in the form of mannitol and laminaria. The cell wall composition is cellulose and algene, and the number of flagella is 2. It is unequal and they are laterally located. So now let's see the next type of algae, that is rhodophyceae. So rhodophyceae are red algae. So they contain protein pigment phycoerythrin. So erythrin means red color. So this phycoerythrin protein red complex pigment is found in red algae. So along with that they have chlorophyll A and B, which is required for the process of photosynthesis. But the major pigments will be phycoerythrin, and that is why these thallus will appear red in color. They are red in color due to the presence of phycoerythrin. Now they store food in the form of starch. So this starch is called as Floridian starch. So the word Floridian means it is the name of the genus Floridia, which belongs to red algae, and the stored starch is called as Floridian starch. So this starch is named after the genus Floridia, which is found in red algae, and we call it as Floridian starch, which is again nothing but a polysaccharide. The cell wall consists of cellulose, pectin, polysulfite esters. Cellulose and pectin are polysaccharides, polysulfate esters. Now all these three forms the composition of cell wall. Now flagella number, the flagella is totally absent in rhodophyceae. So these are the characters of rhodophyceae. They have got red algae. The common name is red algae. For red color they have phycoerythrin pigment whose number is more, and along with that they have chlorophyll A and B. The stored food is in the form of Floridian starch. Cell wall composition is cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters. Flagella is absent. So students, we learned that algae is classified into three groups: Rhodophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Chlorophyceae. Now these classification was done based on the pigments, stored food, cell wall composition, flagella number.